you get your questions out, and we will try to answer the best way that we can. Um, and usually, if we don't have an answer, then we'll let our guides come in.
We'll answer them as best we can.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so we got YouTube going, and
welcome. Thank you for joining us.
yeah, there we go. Okay, so YouTube is up. All right, and then I think
welcome our YouTubers. Thank you for joining us.
And now I'm getting Facebook up here. Sorry, everybody. I just want to make sure that I can see y'all. Alright, there we go. Now I've got Facebook up. Now I can see the comments. Okay. Alright.
Hi, Facebook.
Hey, guys. Yeah.
Goodbye. Here with my divine SisTar, the healing oracle, Trish.
Yeah. Hey, guys. Yeah. And first off, I want to apologize for being a little bit behind. I wanted to upgrade my computer a little bit in the memory department because it just seems like it's awfully choppy. And I really wanted to get that upgraded. Well, I ran into some problems. The problem being I'm not technically inclined like I thought I was. But I did what I could in making it work. I really hope that it's going to push through for us. I can at least see your comments and questions, and then you can hopefully at least hear my answer or Larissa's answer. So just bear with us, and if there are any technical issues, please feel free to let us know. That way we can know how to improve it. I do know that there is about a 20-second lag on the comments, so if you do ask a question, just give us a little bit of time to see it. So it does look like it's a little bit choppy.
I cannot see the comments.
Yep. But yes, exactly. And again, there is about a 20-second lag. So, and that's just Facebook. So, so again, this is my usual Q&A here. So, as far as questions, you can ask any burning questions you might have, like energy dimensions. I know this is repeat, but to those of you that are just joining, energy dimensions, spirit guides, extraterrestrials, dream interpretation, past lives, future lives, simultaneous lives. What in the world's happening in the world. I'm trying to kind of steer away a little bit of talking about all of that because I'm getting the hints or the hits I should say, that everybody's kind of tired of hearing about it, and I think we need a distraction from it all. It's not good to focus all of our energy on something that's fear-mongering. So, and I think that
I think it's important that people are taking times to turn off their radios.
Yes.
If they're listening to the news on it, I think it's time to turn off their TVs if they're watching Corona and COVID all the time.
Yeah,
it's just get back to nature and get back to your family. Play a deck of cards, get out in the yard, put your feet in the grass. It's really important right now that people step away from the media because the collective energy that is going on right now is really fear-based, and it's important that we turn that fear base into love base, because
exactly.
It's a big thing to remind everybody right now that we are all in this together. We are all locked down. We are all going getting a little cabin fever, a little stir crazy, but to remember that we're all going to get through this together. And I believe going to get through this better together because people are having to reconnect with their children, their partner, their loved ones, and they're having to connect in ways that even some of these generations have never stepped away from a cell phone before.
Exactly.
Like they've never really had human connection. And I think that people are realizing that we are all in this together. We're not just a state or a country or a city. We are a global community. And we are all in this together, and what affects one affects the whole. And step away from the media. Remember that the sun's going to come up tomorrow. You are locked away. You're not in jail. I mean, think about the prisoners. They're in lockdown, but they don't get to choose their cellies, their cellmates.
Right. Mm-hmm.
We get with the people we love. And we all need to be thankful for that, and to know that every dark night is a bright day, and that day is coming, and that day will dawn, and we'll be new people. We'll be a new community, and do not feed into the fear, please. Have faith over fear, please. Remember, we're going to do this together.
Exactly. And, we were just talking about how so many people are just stuck in the fear right now. And, we can't get away from it when we're watching TV because that's all there is. It's just all fear this, fear that. And I'm going to tell you something, as I am in the healthcare field, yeah, I am a nurse, and the numbers are just not adding up. There's not I'm not seeing that there's a reason to panic about anything, and I'm not, by all means I am not saying it's a fake virus and that it's not real and it's just, I'm not saying that. Again, I do work in the healthcare field. I see it, but the numbers are just not adding up to me. There's something not right about that. But again, I'm trying to get away from
about it, but I think maybe what we're being held in the dark for is for our own good to a point.
Yeah, it's to a point. Right.
Hitting on that, I want people to realize that external forces will keep the masses in fear, because there's a reason for that. They can control the masses by keeping us in fear. And please, by all means, do not take a vaccine for this virus.
Oh my gosh, yeah, no.
Our bodies are already a machine.
Yes.
And it's the best machine on earth. There's no machine that can copy what the human body already does itself.
Absolutely.
I want to remind people that we do not need a vaccine to cure this.
Absolutely.
This is going to be through our own bodies. We are going to build immunities.
Yep.
The people that are being affected have, if I was to get it, I would be the person that'd be hospitalized because I have 5 autoimmune diseases. Mm-hmm. Those are the people being affected.
Yeah.
And usually the healthy people are getting over it. 80% of people are getting better at home.
Yeah.
Our bodies are amazing machines. And if we stay in a high vibe, a love vibe, that virus can't really even come get us, because it's everything runs on wavelengths. Well, the virus is a low vibing wave. Mm-hmm. So that's a fear-based virus. So stay above that.
Yep.
And remind yourself that even if you're bored, be thankful that you're allowed to stay home, that you're allowed to be, that you wanted to start last year, but this is the year you're going to do it. You have the time. And those are things that are going to take you away from the TV. They're going to take you away from the radio. They're going to take you away from things that are trying to fear-base and control us. The government likes to make laws when we're in a fear-based, like, let's take away our guns because, there's mass shootings. Well, we've proven that doesn't help.
No, and you make such a good point.
Yeah. Not the gun, it's the person. So,
yep.
Let's say the government says you're not going back to work unless you get this vaccination. Well, I'm sorry, but I guess I'm never going to do that.
Yeah.
They're never going to put an vaccine in me because our bodies don't need that. That's just more chemicals.
And yes, absolutely. And you make such a good point on fear. And so what did they immediately start doing whenever they started talking about this virus? It was all fear, talking about how many deaths and how many people are going to need 40,000 respirators and all this. That's instilling fear in us. And I will tell you guys a little secret. So it wasn't not long after they're using almost like negative entities. There are so many different ways that a virus works. So when you're talking about dealing with the public and trying to instill fear, they're going to use actually lower vibrational negative entities, spiritual entities, okay? And that's kind of how, honestly, some depressions work is they whisper little depressing thoughts in your ear, almost in your energetic ear. I'm not, I'm serious now, and whenever we hear that word over and over and over again, that's on repeat in our mind too. So what happens whenever we're constantly thinking about something or we're constantly repeating a word over and over again? We manifest it. So by having these little dark negative energy entities, coming near your energetic body and repeating that word over and over again, you're going to manifest having the virus. So by completely locking out
Yeah,
those
over
thoughts,
fear.
yep, you got it.
Faith over fear.
But
Percent.
exactly, whenever you have a repeating negative thought, you manifest that. So by repeating that word over and over again in your mind or hearing it over and over again, we manifest having it. So by staying above that, by completely blocking out those thoughts, it's not going to be able to touch our energy. And
Yeah.
we did have a question. Miss Debbie Phillips asked, who are my spirit guides and do I have any messages? So everybody has, and good morning, Tara from Ireland. So
Hi
everybody,
there.
Debbie,
Welcome, Debbie.
has,
Thank you, Tara, for joining us.
yes, thank you. Everybody has spirit guides. So, the thing is, Debbie, is that it's a good question, and the thing is, Debbie, is that nobody should be telling you who your guides' names are because it is meant to be a personal journey. So when I and if you do come across anybody that's trying to tell you, your guide's name is Mary and Bob and they do this for you, you gotta watch out for that. So yes, they may be tapping into your energy, maybe, but the guides' names are meant to be a personal journey. It's meant for you to connect with them. We all have them. We
And
all have
can I
more
add
than
to that,
one.
Trish?
Mm,
Can I add to the name part
sure.
that not all guides come with names
Yes.
because our guides are energy, and if it's important to you, sometimes these spirit guides, them, they'll give you their name because they were here on Earth with you. So
Mm-hmm.
you'll get an earthly name and you'll know that person.
Yep.
But I want you to be aware that there is a team around you that is always around you. You were born with them, and they don't always come with names. But if it's comforting for you to
Yep.
know, you can always ask your guide.
Yep.
You, Debbie, can say, okay, I would like to ask my spirit guides if they have a name I could call them. And if your spirit guide knows that it's important enough for you to need a name, then they will usually supply that to you. But I'll
Mm-hmm.
just bear in mind that not all guides come with names, honey. They come with vibrations. They come
Mm-hmm.
with love. They come with. They
Yep.
come with wisdom. They come with love. You'll feel your guides more than you'll hear a name. They're not necessarily don't need a name, but they are there with you and they're always guiding you. And if it's important for you to have a name, so you have someone to talk to, like my crystal's name's Violet. She told me her name, so I get to call her Violet. But you don't need to have a name. But if it comforts you, they will supply one,
Mm-hmm.
and if it helps you, and they know what your higher purpose is. If your higher purpose, is going to help you to get where you need to be, they'll tell you a name so you know what to call them if it comforts you.
Yeah, and to there for a while. I mean, I think we all get hung up on what our guides' names are, and I was in contact with my main guide, Mary, and I was so worried about who they were, what their names were, and then finally she asked me, because that's a lot of times that's how my guides will answer a question is that they will ask another question, so then it makes me answer it. But she had asked a very good question. She said, does it really matter? Does it really matter what our names are, because it only matters that we're assisting you through this. It only matters that we're giving you positive reinforcement that you need, and that we're there for you anytime that you need it. And then I have another guide who I was asking who he was or she was, and I just really was asking because I wanted to know where they were from, you know, as a how they were going to assist me. And the answer I got kind of surprised me, but I got an answer of, well, we're not really anything. We're more or less a collective of energy. So and you know, just like how us humanity are a collective of, we have a collective mind, okay? That's kind of how he is, and I call him he only because he did finally give me a name, but he said that the name was only in reference to a collective vibration of energy that would pertain to a certain personality here on earth that I would know, and that's really confusing. So you would take a generalized aspect of a personality and you give it a name here on earth, right? So each person has a name, and then each time that you hear that person's name, you kind of pick up on, you recognize the energy with that person's name. So that is exactly
That's
what
got a
he
message
did.
for me.
So yeah. So the name
I
that,
have a message for Debbie.
okay.
Um, I'm being told to tell Debbie to take time for herself. It's very important she stops overthinking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that means, but I was told to let Debbie know that she is overthinking and to calm her mind. There's something she's overthinking, and I maybe it's the whole spirit guide thing, but I just got a message to please let Debbie know to calm her mind and there's no need to overthink it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no need to overthink it. And I hope she can answer
Mm-hmm.
that, because I don't know why, but I was told. So there we go. Debbie, that was for you, honey.
Mm-hmm.
I got
Awesome.
a message from my guide, and
Okay.
my guide that talks to me mostly is my great grandpa Lars. So I didn't get to start hearing him until 1994, and I thought it was God. I always called him my God. I was like, well, my God said we shouldn't do that. My God said I need to not do that, or we should do this, or, you know, we should go now, or, you know, whatever. But here about 4 years ago, I had gone to a medium. Her name was Carrie, and she's from my hometown. And I went with my daughter-in-law, and I went with her sister. And um, at first, it was so crazy because I got to listen to their loved ones and their messages, and then it was my turn. And the first thing the medium says to me is, "I'm sorry, Larissa, but nobody came here for you." And I just literally started crying. I thought, oh my God, my mom died when I was 11 years old. Not even my mom is here, like nobody. And she says, oh, honey, don't cry. They all came with you. They didn't have a message for you. She's like, you have so many people around you, Larissa. It's amazing. She's like, well, I can't even breathe. There's so many people in here right now. Well, I had come to terms probably about 6 months before this about my mother's death, which is a long story, but it was a tragic story, and God rest her soul. She's in a better place, and she has come back to guide me. My mom's around me a lot, but only question I had asked, you know, was, what is my spirit guide's name? I had asked the same
Mm-hmm.
question Debbie had asked, because I kept calling him my God. But something about that didn't feel like that was right either. I'm like, well, I know they're coming, you know, it's coming from from above, but it's a guy, so it got to be God. Well, she says he won't tell me his name, but it's this small, and it's like Tim, John, you know, Tom, and out of me, I screamed at the top of my lungs, and I said, Lars, and she said, that's his name. And I said, that's my great grandpa. And she says, well, most spirit guides never touch their feet on earth. Your spirit guide did. After he passed on, he came back to guide you, and he stands next to you on your left side like a pillar of granite. He's always with you. He's always guiding you. And he laughed and said it's hard to keep me in line because I'm just all over the place. But that's how I found out who my spirit guide's name that I hear mostly is my great grandpa Lars. And, you know, we don't always know our guides, but I do know that one of my guides is my great grandpa.
Mhm. And they can be. Now the only time that any family member, a past family member, would not be any spirit guide is if they had spent any time with you here on Earth. So like my grandmother who died, who I was 13, when I was 13, could not be one of my spirit guides. Now they can still be on my team per se, and they can still be on the sidelines cheering me on, you know, but they're not able to give any kind of guidance, so therefore they cannot be labeled as a spirit guide. Now, your spirit guides, most of them, I will say, most of them are here with you from birth, okay, and before birth,
Mm-hmm.
really, but
And
you
we
know, you're,
sometimes have walk-in guides for a
yeah,
certain part in our life. But
yeah,
we definitely have our main team that came here with us. Their
exactly,
contract was
yeah,
just like ours. They said, we're coming with you. And it's like, all right, here we
yeah.
go.
Exactly, and generally, your spirit guides are part of your soul group, and along with your family members whenever you get here on Earth and that. But again, most of your guides are here with you from birth, and then you will gain some in throughout your life, depending on which situations you're going into, which situations you're coming out of, that kind of thing. And we
Spirit
do we
animals.
do have a
Spirit
comment
animals.
from Salma, and I want to read this because it's wonderful, awesome news. So she says that, hello, I want to share an ultimate remedy regarding COVID-19. People over here in Pakistan are getting cured miraculously. Feel free to
Oh, yes.
share, honey.
Please
Yeah,
share. Beautiful.
feel free to
Thank
share. I'd be
you.
glad to hear it. Now I know I've heard very good things about chloroquine and zinc. I've heard wonderful things about that. I don't know if that's your remedy that you're speaking of, but I have heard of that. And then I think there was somebody else had mentioned adding vitamin C to that they're having good results from that. But yeah, feel free to share, guys. And feel free to ask any questions, guys. We're open. Anything you want, ask. Anything burning. Now, the only thing that we're not doing is that we're not doing any kind of reading questions or anything like that. But anything spiritual, dimensions, energy, dream interpretation, angels,
Yeah,
extraterrestrials.
Debbie got a message because my guide came through when, we were talking about her question. So,
Yeah.
and like I said, maybe it was about the question she had asked, to calm her mind, don't overthink it. Yes, you have guides.
Yeah, and whenever I do my life feeds, there are certain times where one of my guides will come through, and it's like an urgent message. So, and that's pertaining to usually the question that I'm answering at that time. So that will happen, yeah. Especially if the message has been trying to get
Well, it
through
wouldn't
to the
come.
person, and they
I
just
kept it to the
haven't,
as I
right.
met
Yeah.
until I told Debbie, that she just needs to calm her mind and not
Mm-hmm.
to overthink it. Now the pain went away. But it's like, if it's going to bother me, it's like, I gave you a message. I mean, give it to
Sure,
her.
sure.
And I hope she comes on and tells us, what that means. I mean, I'm assuming it's about the question she asked, but they
Mm-hmm.
came, my guide came through strong. So
Mm-hmm.
I gave that. But yeah, we're definitely not doing readings. We are here to talk about anything spiritual. In fact, I'll tell you why I'm wearing my necklace. It says Sirius on it. And on the back it says I am a Syrian star seed. And I'm pretty sure that my star family came and picked me and my love up last night because we were well, I don't know if all of you are aware of the Schumann resonance. If you don't, that is Mother Gaia, Earth's heartbeat. And as we go through these new waves in this new world and all of these conjuncts with all the planets lining up, the super moons and all the stuff that's going on, we have a lot of energy going on.
Oh gosh,
And
yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm very not surprised. And I decided I would wear my Syrian starseed pendant that I made. And I wore it tonight because I'm pretty sure that last night my star family picked me up because at 5:05 a.m. this morning, me and my love were dropped like back into our bed but our bodies were completely on fire. Like, I mean, this was like, I have hot flashes. I've been going through menopause for 11 years, so I know what a hot flash is. This was a hot flash on steroids 10 times. Our body was burning up. Our house was only in the 60s, so it's not like it was really hot in our house. We had to get up at 5 o'clock this morning at 5:05, I should tell you. And also, my great grandpa Lars comes in at 5:55. Those are his numbers, 5. But at 5:05 this morning, we got up. We opened up our door. We live in the mountains, in Montana, so like there was a ice cold breeze coming off the mountains. We opened our door. We left our door open, locked our screen door, and just let the wind just blow in. And it was crazy because, first of all, it was 5:05. My phone comes on for no reason, lights up. But me and Royden are both like on fire. Our feet are on fire. Our bodies are on fire. Our bed feels like it's on fire. It was the craziest thing. And I've had some crazy experiences in my life. And I'm pretty sure that I visited my star family, the Syrians, last night. And the Syrians, the Palladians, the Arcturians, the Vegans, the O'Briens, they are here. They are here right now. We are going through something on this planet that has never happened before. And we are all doing this together. And I'm not talking the lockdown. I'm talking something bigger, which it began in 2012. The Mayans weren't wrong when they said that, the calendar ended. It only ended because we were going straight into, a new world, and we're building that new world, and we've been building it since 2012, and everything has to collapse because nothing was working.
Yeah.
Nothing was working globally. It all has to collapse for us to get to where we're going, and our star family, our galactic loved ones, are above us, and they are with us, and they are watching us go through us, and they are so proud of us. Humans are amazing, and never forget how special and beautiful us humans are. Us earthlings are absolutely something special. And every one of us should know how dear and special we are, and that we live in an amazing machine, an amazing computer. No computer on this world could ever be what we were already born into. Our bodies, our temple.
I wish that people would know. Yeah.
Is amazing.
Yep, I wish that people would know, what we are capable of. If we, I've been told from my guides, that, what I have taught you guys, what I have been on here once a week for how long, and, given you that kind of knowledge and answered your questions, and, the way my clairvoyance is, clairaudience is, and I have been told that is only the very, 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 very tip of the iceberg. What we are actually capable of is so much more powerful. So much more powerful. We really need to.
I want my Atlantis powers back, thank you.
Yeah. But yeah,
my Atlantis powers back, thank you.
So Tara has a question. How do we call in our spirit guides? So Tara, what you can do is, they are already giving us messages throughout the day, and especially in our dreams. They usually start in our dreams because we're a lot more open and aware. We're kind of between the worlds. When we're in our waking world, we have so many belief systems instilled on us just by society where we are taught that only certain things are possible and other things are not possible. But when we're dreaming, when we're sleeping, we're told that anything is possible. So, of course, we are going to have a lot more open contact and symbolism in our dreams. So, how you would normally start something like that is, again, they're already there. They're already giving us information, where they're already giving us insight. Before you go to bed each night, starting out, express to them, to your guides, to your spirit team, basically that, we want.
They hear you telepathically.
Exactly. You don't have to. You can say it out loud, or you can say it in your mind. That hey, I would love to remember my dreams. I would love for you to give me something that I can remember you guys from. I know that we talk. I know that you can hear me. Please help me remember my dreams. Help me remember our contacts. And then you'll still kind of slowly start do that every night, but you'll kind of slowly start seeing the dots connect. But in your waking world, again, in your waking world, we are always getting messages from them. When you are in your mind and you're going about your day to day life and you're going from here to there, you're in your car, especially when you're in your car because you're in a zone. Um, you are already talking to them. When you think that you're in your mind and you're going back and forth in your mind about certain things and you're breaking things down throughout, this situation, and you're actually talking to you and your guides conversating. We're
So if a
taught
song
that we're
comes on when
supposed
you're
to
thinking
hear
about
like
it,
a voice, and we're taught that
when
we're
you're in the
supposed
car,
to hear something audible, but in reality, it's more or less a telepathic communication, and they have to use your own voice at first because you would think that you're going schizophrenic, which, you know what, absolutely, in this society, one would think that. But so that's why you think that it's kind of your own voice. What you need to listen for is those thoughts that seemingly come out of nowhere. Okay, so not necessarily, you thinking, okay, about the cheeseburger, but when you have to sit there and think, it's not a planned thought. So when you have to sit there and think, did I really just think that? That just seemed to kind of come out of thin air. That's your
yeah,
guides.
like you should take a left. It's like maybe I
Mhm.
should take a left.
Absolutely. Yep. And they certainly
Or
do.
even a song on the radio when you're driving down the road and you're thinking those thoughts, and a song comes on, and
Mhm.
you're like, oh,
Why would I
the
think
lyrics of
that?
the
Yeah,
song,
exactly. What would
there's the
make me think
messages
that?
in those
Yeah.
lyrics. There are messages on the numbers on your clock.
Yep.
Your spirit guide will talk to you in your own voice to begin with, like Trish said, but they'll also send you numbers. They'll
Yep.
send you songs. They'll send you a feather. They'll send you a coin.
Yep.
Uh, they'll send you birds.
Yep.
They'll send you animals in your path. A coyote or an
Yep.
eagle
Mhm.
or a raven or a robin. Every day they are speaking to you, whether it be with a feather, a bird, a car, a radio, the lyrics of a song, the
Mhm.
numbers, strange, just like Trish said, like just like, oh, like that. Did I say that?
Mhm.
Like, yeah, you did. But yes, those are all communications from your team, whether you recognize those or not. Those are connections from your team.
Yep, and so kind of break that down a little bit. So they don't always speak in words. So for one, they're not physical. They're not in our physical world. They're in a spiritual world where things are a lot more energetic and work in frequencies. So the reason so that's the reason for that. So specifically what they do is they're going to send you a nudge to look up at something at a certain time. So if it's 11:11 on the clock, they're going to send you a little nudge to, oh shoot, I got to check the time. Well, and then lo and behold, it's 11:11. So or they will kind of take some song lyrics that they know have meaning to you. They know that this certain song lyric has a certain kind of meaning to you, and it's on repeat in your head. Haven't you ever? I know all of us have said at least one time in our life that, oh my gosh, I've got a song stuck in my head. That's what that
Wake up.
is. Yeah.
That's a real biggie
Yes.
when you wake up in the morning and you have a song stuck in your head.
Exactly.
The
Mm.
first thing you should do is look up the lyrics, because as you're reading those lyrics is usually when you'll get the message that was left in the song, that you will the song stuck in your head.
Exactly. Exactly. And the funny thing about that is though is as far as the song lyrics goes, it's like it'll have meaning to you, a certain meaning to you one time, and then the next time, later that day or even the next day, it may have a different meaning to you. But it doesn't matter the meaning, but it's the message within the meaning for that moment in time. It doesn't matter that it's different the next day and that the other one didn't mean anything that you thought it did. No, they're both
Right?
meanings are right. It's just a matter of that moment in time, that
I mean, I
energy.
totally love that. Trish. Just when I was like 13 years old, the song from George Michael, Father Figure, came out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was probably 4 months ago. I woke up to just a certain verse of that song, Father Figure,
Yep.
over and over and
Yep.
over.
Mm-hmm.
And when I put it together, that lyrics, I understood the bigger message. This had nothing to do with, a father figure, but our creator.
You got it.
That blew me away because I seen that song and loved it at 13, but wow, when you get this message and you wake up to it, it's like, wow, that song has taken on a whole new meaning for me, father figure. Like, okay, it's like, I will be your father figure, put your tiny hand in mine. I will be your preacher, teacher, anything you have in mind. It's like, oh, wow. So that right there is a message from your spirit team. Just little things like that. That's just my example I have for that. I mean, that just happened to me recently, 4 months ago.
You got it. And you know what? If you were to hear that song today, it may carry a totally different meaning for you, and it may even be a different person or situation. Um, so, and the other part of that question was, do they know what's best for us? Absolutely, they know what's best for us. Well, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they really, what they do, yes, they do in a sense that, they've worked with you, your higher self, and you, your physical self, and your higher self, your oversoul, on your whole
And
life plan before you even come here. So before you came here, you sat down with them, okay, in what would be equivalent to a conference room, and you looked through all of the life choices that you wanted to have, and we can't not all of the choices can come to pass, but they're based off of which choices that I take in which direction. As far as it's like a graph map, okay? So I chose this decision, and then so I get the next line of possible life choices that I've mapped out for myself. They work with that map, and then your higher self that has chosen this map with certain buffet of life choices, if you want to call it, and they know which decision is going to take you on the best route to end up the best version of yourself. Okay, because when you sat down and mapped everything out, as far as your buffet of life choices, you know which one takes you to the best version of yourself, and you're always going to be nudged to that direction. And there's multiple ways that you can go. Again, it's like if you map it all out in a graph, okay, so here's your graph, okay, and then, you've got, one situation and seven different choices on this side. Okay, and then you have the direct consequences of each choice in the next column. Okay, and then the next column is the direct consequences of those direct consequences, and then it
there's
just
never
keeps
a
going
wrong
out like a
path.
tree. Yeah.
Never,
So,
there's never
yeah,
a wrong choice.
and then all lines lead back to either the best version of yourself or a least best version of yourself or the lowest version of yourself. There's multiple ways to get to that best version of yourself. It's not like one set path, makes that, end result. No, not at all. It's there's multiple ways that you can get there, and if you stray off, and you do happen to go down on the graph, and on the map of the tree, then you can always work your way back up. It's like that number coin drop game. I can't remember what it was called. I don't remember, but you place the coin in the top, and then there's
Synchro.
holes. Yes,
There's still
that's
going
what
to
it
be a
is.
loop down at the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. So kind of flip it on its side and make a tree out of it, a tree of life out of it, and that's
Oh,
kind
we
of,
can make
yeah,
because that's what you do. But
yeah,
and
yep.
I want to touch on something there, Trish.
Mhm.
Um, so adding to that, um, since we did decide and we did write our contract before we came here, that is just a fact. That is the way it is. We chose the people we would meet. We chose the people who would give us lessons. We chose scenarios. We chose exit points, and not just one. Usually 5. We choose different exit points because we all came down here for different reasons. We came down here to be a better version, rise higher. This is what we came here to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I want you to understand something, because I know that, not Tara, but, there are people out there right now that are in bad situations.
Sure.
And they question God. They say, if there's a God, then why am I here? Why in the hell am I living this life? Why? First of all, let me point something out. God
Sure.
didn't put you there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You did.
Yep.
And for whatever reason, only you know why you chose that path that you chose. And you can ask your guides to help you find the highest route to your highest path. And it won't happen the next day. It might not happen next week. But if you tell the universe, I cannot live in this abusive relationship anymore. I cannot go to work at this job anymore. I cannot do this. So you're sending out negative energy, first of all. So if you say instead, I am open to leave the job I am in now and lead me to the job for my higher purpose. I want to, instead of being a cook, I want to own a restaurant. Instead of being in this abusive relationship, I want to find a loving relationship.
Yep.
I ask that my guides help me out of the situation I am in now. Show me the path, show me the steps, leave me a feather, leave me a coin, show me a number, show me that I'm going in the right direction to lead me to my higher path.
Mm-hmm.
To know that you can ask them, but say that in some instances, say you've done all this work and you've made it to the Olympics, you're the fastest runner. And while you're running in the race that you have worked your whole entire life for, you just want to give up. You're tired. Oh my gosh. You've tripped over you tripped over a rock. You've lost a shoe, but you're still running because you went to the Olympics to win. So there's a part of you that keeps going. And then there's a part of you that just wants to stop. That's your ego. Your ego saying, oh, you can't do it. Oh, you've lost a shoe. Oh God, you bruised your toe because you stepped on that rock. That's your ego. But your soul says, no, I see the finish line. I see the light at the tunnel. I'm going to keep going. And then your ego's like, give up, just stop. You can't do this. And at this point, okay, there is a point where your angels, they're always there guiding you. But if you asked your angel in the middle of the race, oh, angel, I'm asking you to take me out of this race. I can't fight it no more. I can't do this anymore. I ask you to help me. Your guide is not going to help you, because you have chosen that race. They cannot come in and decide that they're going to change your contract because you asked them to. No matter how many times you ask them to come in and stop that race will never stop. You wrote that race contract. Mm-hmm. So remember that if you're in a bad situation and you keep saying, I can't see my way out, why aren't they helping me? Why would God put me here? To realize, stop. How did I get here? How did I find my way to this person or this place or this job? So to remember, you found your way to that place, that person, whatever it may be, that you may stop. You may reevaluate your path and say, okay, when I met this guy, I didn't know that he was going to abuse me. Because you don't know that. We can't always know what we can't know. We're not meant to know it.
Right.
We knew that we met that person and there was a lesson in there. So, whoa, how did I get here, for one?
Mm-hmm.
Two, what is the lesson that I'm learning from all of this? 3, what could put me to the first step to getting out of it? And as you ask, specifically say, I'm going to have my cousin pick me up tomorrow. The universe hears that. Next thing you know, your cousin shows up at the door. It's like, oh my gosh, you're here. How did you know? The universe has sent that person. There's your step.
Right.
There's that
Mm-hmm.
step. And as that one step, you take that step, you decide to go with your cousin. The universe is already ahead of you, and it's throwing like, okay, she needs a new job. She needs a new car. She needs a new home. Next thing you know, all these things are in front of you, but they're falling in front of you slowly, slowly. You think it's slow, but the universe is doing as fast as they can to rearrange that path for your highest good. So when you're not seeing results and you are trying, you are connecting, you are grounding, you are loving yourself. First of all, love yourself. Begin
Mm-hmm.
to love yourself. Be your best friend. Connect with you. Connect with your higher self. Love you. You're special. You're beautiful. Know that your team is with you. Your team cannot change the outcome, but
Yep.
they can
Mm-hmm.
help
Yep. I don't mean to interrupt
within
you. We've got a question here. Yep.
people, but they can't step in and change anything. You made these contracts, and you
Exactly.
can find
Right.
your way out of
Right.
any bad, dark place.
Yep.
Find
They,
the light. The
mhm.
light's waiting. Find
Yep.
it.
And
Find the
they,
lesson that
you're
you
right. They
dark place.
can't interfere because then they're going to be creating karma for themselves. So it's kind of a rock and a hard place. But we do have a question, so I wanted to get that answered. So, um, let's see. Um,
Thank you for
okay.
your
So
question. Thank you for being here, everybody. We appreciate it.
yeah, thank
Namaste.
you. Yep. So Debbie asked again. So our guides, angels, or do we have both? They are two totally different species. So angels are actually so spirit guides are more on a level of like fifth dimensional souls that have they may or may not have had Earth lives, or at least lives they have had on a planet that would be similar to Earth with similar Earth lessons. So but angels are more like sixth density energy beings, so they have not necessarily had human lives. So the reason why our spirit guides work with us so closely, so well, is because they have had human lives. So they understand what it's like and can kind of guide you a little bit better. So they would understand why you would make that type of decision and therefore can kind of assist you a little bit better. So your angels are meant to be your now they actually do have the ability to interfere when only and when it is a life or death situation and you are meant to do something important later on.
Like if
So
you were in a car accident and
exactly, yeah.
you have a near-death experience and you are sent back.
Exactly. Or I just was
With that
listening to a
self-grounding.
story earlier on a gentleman was in a brigade in World War II, and he was on some type of a boat. Now I there was a special name for it, and God forgive me, I don't know those technical terms, but he was on a boat, let's say, and it was hit by a Japanese missile. And the boat essentially was blown to pieces, smithereens, you name it. He woke up completely naked, floating on a raft. Okay, and everyone around him was gone, sunk into the ocean floor. He was the sole survivor. Okay, he was meant to live on for something more important because that would have never ever happened. But he also, when he awoke and realized that he was the only survivor, he looked around and he saw a floating blue spirit being, and he called it a blue angel. Okay, now, angels are not humans with wings. They don't look like humans with wings. So I think for some people they might appear that way because that's how their religious overlays are, their religious filters. But that's not what they look like. Okay, they are basically a formless energy essence, I would say. And the reason why they're kind of depicted with wings is because they're higher than us, so and they float. So I mean, humans had to put some kind of rationale on why they could fly or why they could float. So this came like the depiction of them having wings in the Bible, but so they're actually more or less, spirit to an energy being. So they again they do have the angels and archangels only have the ability to interfere when it's a life or death thing, or or it's a direct result from a manifestation or a prayer that you have built on and built
Well,
on and
I've
built
heard
on.
that. I don't know if this is true, but Archangel Michael works closely with me
Yeah.
and my love. But I also heard that Archangel Michael is our closest angel to us humans, and that's why the sky is blue. I don't know if that's true, but I heard that Archangel Michael works with a lot of humans.
Yeah, and
He is.
actually, my guides have told me recently,
Excuse me.
especially because I was in a meditation and I had a vision of two things. I had a vision of, because I'm a violet ray, so I work closely with a lot of violet beings, a violet skin color and violet energy beings. But um, so I saw a vision of that violet energy being, but then I also saw a being that was glowing blue. And I have just learned so much about the blue energy beings, but I was told in this meditation that Archangel Michael, yes, he's depicted as a blue energetic being, but the reason why he is because of the level of soul he is, but also he is very, very, very close to, if not the same thing as the Raw group, RA, and that is how they put him in the Bible, is that they had to put a name and a direction with him, so with this group. So that's the name that they gave him, was Michael, but it's actually the Raw group, which is associated with blue energy beings.
Yeah,
So
blue rays. Yeah.
yes, yep,
And if you see energy rays coming in from the sun, the blue rays that come down are Archangel Michael energies.
yes, yes, you got
And they
it,
were, uh,
you got it.
was it your third eye?
Yeah,
Is it our third eye that are the
yes.
blue? Yes,
Blue,
yeah.
well, light blue is the throat, and dark blue indigo is the third eye. So yes, yep, yep. And that's also a depiction of a direct correlation with the degree of advancement of souls is to what color they are. So, the further along you are advanced as a soul, I would say, then the different color you are.
Like
So, and it's
Taser Base.
a
He is keeper of the violet flame.
yes, exactly. So the most deep you can be is a violet. And then you start off as actually white. You don't start off as red. You start off as white, and then you go to a yellow color is as you advance, and then you go to like a dark yellow golden color further than that, and then you go to like a light blue, and then you go to a dark blue, and then you go to a purple, and then you go to a violet. So it just depends on how advanced you are, and this may take hundreds, if not thousands, of lifetimes of advancing and learning and growing, and even advancing between lifetimes, because
And I'm myself, I'm a blue ray. I'm a
you
blue ray. I
and
am.
and you don't stop learning in between your lifetimes. You still have growth and learning in between your lifetimes. And I wanted to cover something that I spoke about it a long time ago, and I just wanted to go over it again because there's a lot of new people that follow. But life beats ago, I was talking about the encounter that I had with my guides and my extra dimensional guides. That how they seeded Earth, they were showing me how they were seeding Earth physically in a 3D plane. And then earlier I was reminded of something that I channeled through a long time ago in one of the live feeds, and I was talking about basically how nature is created because when I was talking a few life feeds ago about how life was created, I was speaking more of in terms of humans and how they directed and watched over and managed, when they finally decided to seed life on Earth, or the animals too, of course, but any physical animal or being, but um, going back to way before, and I was talking about how, we have to, our scientists discover so many new different species every day, and it's never going to end because they're constantly new species are constantly being created. Life
Yeah,
did
they're
not
finding them in
just
caverns. They're
right.
finding deep in the ocean. They're finding them on islands.
Exactly. Yep.
And as our Earth changes, I mean, we're bound to find things
Yep.
we haven't seen before.
And I asked my guides, I'm like, did you guys have anything to do with this? And the answer, again, they always answer with a question, but their answer was, who do you think nature is? So, because I had asked, who makes Mother Nature? Because we came from Mother Nature. The merging of chemicals and compounds did not happen, just randomly, And I said, who makes nature then? Or who changes nature? And then the answer again was, who do you think nature is? Well, it is these spirits in between lives, as well as the extra dimensional guides, and the angels really don't have a whole lot to do with the creation of nature or the creation of human life, but they have a lot to do with protecting and overseeing and managing the structure of who manages who and who's best fit to manage here and there. They're like the managers, if you want to call them that. They don't. As far as the workers and the creators, you have spirit beings from down on Earth that are on the spirit world. They're managing and they're creating and they're compounding and it's almost like a chemistry lab in the spirit world. It's really neat that they showed me that because I saw these spirits in like a garden, and then they're moving, and then they're compounding, and it's really neat. It was really neat to learn that. It was really neat to see that too in my mind. But um, just wanted to share that because that was some new information that I got, and then that, as well as compounded with information that I got a long time ago. Um, but how can you see? Okay, Marie, how can you see what color one emits? So I don't actually see them with my physical eyes. I see it more with my inner eye. And
What was the
any one of
question,
us can
Trisha? I'm
do that.
sorry, I didn't hear it.
Um, the question was, how can you see what color one emits? So again, I don't see it with my physical eyes. Well, I guess I could say I'm starting to because as time goes on, you advance, on a daily basis, really. But so I see it mainly with my inner eye. So it's almost like and a daydream that takes over. So even if you can't see it, sometimes you can feel it. And it takes some practice if all you can do is feel it. But when you feel it, you can kind of compare it to other ones that you have felt, and then you can judge
And, and,
more positive
and,
versus lower. Yep.
and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes if she feels an energy, sometimes you can grab your camera, and your camera will pick up the lights, the colors, whereas your physical eyes will not. Um, so in the last 4 years, I started seeing sun rays and realizing that the rays of the sun were changing,
Mm-hmm.
and how I see the rays. I can look at them now. I can look at the sun and see the rays physically now.
Mm-hmm.
But the way I started measuring what was going on with the sun, I could tell that the sun's energy started changing big time four
Oh
years
yeah.
ago.
Oh yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
I started using my own aura, my own energy, because we are energy and we have our own auras. And I don't get to see auras with my physical eyes. I wish I did. I sense auras on people. I do not get to see their colors, but I do have a friend. Shout out to Christy. I love you, Christy. She sees auras. I don't see them, but I do see sun rays. So my aura and the sun rays were corresponding and correlating, and I started to figure out and understand what the colors meant. Like when the pink is radiating down, we know that pink is unconditional love that is radiating down on us. Yellow and white are from our source. Our purple is from Saint Germain, and blue, Archangel Michael. Um, green is was Archangel Raphael, and that is our heart energy. That's heart. Um, I'm not honestly sure what archangel works with the red. I don't want to say because I'm not sure, but I do know that when I see the colors,
it's Ariel.
I know like what like each angel works on different parts of our bodies and what our body needs. Sometimes our throat chakra needs healed. We'll get energy for the color for our throat, or our third eye needs to open. We'll get more blue rays. We'll get more purple rays from our crown. White light up here above our crown, white light around us. So we don't always see colors, auras, if with our physical eyes. Sometimes we have to use, a camera to pick up the colors, or like I said, you can sometimes use your own aura to see things. Other colors around will correlate. They'll communicate with your energies, and that'll make it visible to the human eye. So that's a good question. That is an excellent question. Because I just talked to my friend Christy, she's always like, Larissa, I've never met anybody in my entire life that radiates more beautiful of an aura than you do. She's like, you are someone special. And I'm like, I want to see it. I wish I could see it. She's, she explained it to me how it's all golden entwined and white and purple and blue, and I don't get to see it, but she says every time I walk into a store, like I usually bump into her store, she's like, oh my gosh, Larissa, when you walk in, you are so bright. You are just a beacon. So some people have that gift. It's not my gift. I don't get to see that, but I can feel someone's energy, their aura, their electricity, their energy. And at this point, I'm feeling the collective energy. And that's why I'm glad me and Trish came on today, because people are in lockdown. And we need to tell them that there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. We're all going to get through this.
Right.
Have to fear. No boogeyman's coming to get you.
Yep. So, that was a good question. I think that's something that we all struggle with, is that we're taught that we're supposed to see with our physical eyes, or we're supposed to hear with our physical ears, and that's not always true. Yep. Yep, we got another question here. So it says, why do I feel like I'm in a spiritual war? Because we are in a spiritual war. But I don't want to scare anybody whenever I say that, because, but I don't want to cause any fear, but we are in a spiritual war right now. There's a lot going on that we can't see. There's a lot going on above our heads that we can't see. There's a lot going on below our feet that we're not seeing, and some of that's in the physical world too. But again, I don't want to scare anybody, but if you want to kind of get an idea of what's going on, a lot of it's playing out. It's right out of Revelations in the Bible, but you need to read that on a more spiritual perspective than you do a literal. Don't take it as a literal thing. You want to take it in as from a more spiritual standpoint, and then it's not so scary. In fact, actually, whenever you read it from a more spiritual perspective, it's not scary at all. It's actually quite liberating to figure out that what we're doing is actually, yeah. I'm excited too, because what we're seeing is that we are actually being liberated from our energetic slavery that we've been in the past several thousand years, actually. And what happens at the end? What happens at the end? God wins. God wins. Remember that. Yep. But that doesn't mean that you need to not do your spiritual work. You should always be doing your spiritual work, though. Just because we know that he wins does not mean that you do not have a role to play in raising the collective and being more positive for yourself and others around you, and clearing your own karma and working through your own karmic debts. Absolutely does not mean you get a write-off because we know God wins, but we are in a spiritual war, and the way that you fight this spiritual war is what I just said: raising your frequency, helping raise others' frequency, and when you raise your own frequency, you are helping the ones around you because you are like radiating out. Okay.
Your
You.
frequency,
Yep.
you can't go back to seeing the world in that 3D way anymore. There's no, I cannot see the world the way 99% of other people see it. I just can't.
Yep. You
You don't
can't
have that
unsee it,
ability.
right? Yep. You can't unsee it. Once you are awakened, you don't go back. Yep. Unfortunately. Yeah. For those of you that don't know, for those of you that don't know, I had a immediate, what's the word for it? Um, Immediate, spontaneous spiritual awakening where I literally just, it's like somebody flipped on a light switch and I had a spiritual awakening like 50 years worth in like one minute, and I had to take everything in as much as I could. But it's taken me a lot to unwind that. Um, Lakers are so about to win. Yep, absolutely. Yep. But give me your questions, guys. Anything spiritual, dimensions, frequency, dream interpretation.
Just sit back. Nature's calling me.
Okay, go right ahead, sweetie. Okay. Anything spiritual at all. I'm more than happy to take your past life, soul maps, tree of life maps, parallel realities. Oh, parallel realities. I have a video that I was really hoping I was gonna post it to the YouTube channel. I was really hoping to have it done before we started this tonight, but I decided to do it in a different way than I usually do, so I didn't get a chance to get it done. But I'm hoping to maybe get it done tomorrow or the next day, and post it to the YouTube channel. And that's for those that you don't know, the YouTube channel is the Healing Oracle 1111. So be watching for that video on parallel realities. I will have it done soon though for you. Again, I did it in a different way. Usually I have the pictures on there and then I just kind of speak in the background. Well, this time I'm actually typing it out from like making almost like PowerPoint slides out of it. So taking me a little bit longer, but I want it to be good for you guys. So I'm trying to be good. Um, um, so again, any questions, guys? I'm more than happy to answer. And going back to, guides and angels, and we're talking about levels and different frequencies and all of that. So, our spirit guides, like I said, they are just, not just because they have a big role. I don't mean just that way, but, they are spirit souls that have most of the time had human lives, if not a few human lives, or more than a few even, that have advanced far enough to be a guide, basically to guide somebody else in their own human life. And generally, you're gonna see that most guides have, and we were talking about levels earlier. Most guides have a light blue aura, and further up to your deep purple. The ones that are deep purples are normally like your ascended masters or your violets. I'm sorry, your violets are usually your ascended masters. So I was told, though, very interestingly enough, the way, because I was really trying to understand the way that dimensions worked as opposed to, I'm sorry, in correlation with frequencies, levels of frequency. So, for example, like your third density, which is where we're at now, has a frequency, and I don't know this to be exact, but say we're going to go with 300 hertz, okay? And your fifth density, which is normally where all your spirit guides are, or further past loved ones, it may resonate at a level of 400 hertz. Okay, so third is 300, fifth is 400. Okay, because your fourth is more or less like um, where we're going. We're going to fourth density positive. whenever we do go through this event. But um, just because they are resonating in a frequency on that level, that doesn't mean that they're not physical. Now, your spirit guides mostly are energetic beings because, again, they've had uh, human life, some of them, but there are other entities in that density that are not spirit guides, and they are, I call them extra dimensional beings because some of them are physical to the perception of fifth density. So, as a third density being looking up to a fifth density being, you're going to see an energetic body. Okay, you're going to see what looks like a spirit. Okay, but if you were to climb to their level and be in fifth density with them, you're going to see them as a physical entity. Okay, they see themselves as a physical entity, like you see you when you look in the mirror. Okay, just because they're on that level of frequency does not mean that they do not have a physical body. It's just a different texture of a physical body than what is here on earth. Does that make sense? It's not, I don't know if texture is the right word, but that's the word that came in. So I'm trying to describe it, but it's a different consistency, it's a different texture. It's not like physical, third density human body. It's
Oh
a
gosh.
different level, right? It's a different level, right? Um, Advice for open mind and to learn and expand more wisdom. So, Sarah, the main thing that you need to do is your first step is to be open minded to meditation. So meditating on a daily basis, if not several times a week at least, 10 minutes a day. That's all it takes
And
is just to learn to open your mind, and just to
right, and if
open things up.
you need a guided meditation, you can find good guided meditations on YouTube because
Oh yeah,
sometimes
oh yeah,
people just can't the concept of meditating without being guided. And you can learn how to meditate by being guided through meditation, or you can, you'll learn, you can master meditation just driving down the road or in the shower.
absolutely,
But
yeah.
if you're not at that point, there's no wrong way to meditate. Like Trish said, quiet your mind and ground yourself with Mother Gaia. Put your feet on the ground, or even if you're
Absolutely.
sitting in a chair and you're not able to get outside, you can ask Mother Gaia to ground yourself, especially if you've been in Walmart, or I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
saying just
definitely
Walmart,
Walmart.
or around a bunch of people, and
Yep.
sometimes you pick up energy from other people.
Yep.
If you could take, even like before you come home, say you're at work and you've had a bad day at work, and or you're just dealing with a lot of hectic situations at work, and you don't want to bring that energy home with you. If you haven't learned how to meditate in your car on your way home, make sure before you enter your home and you carry all this other energy from the people you've encountered at work or whatnot, ask just 5 minutes right before you walk in your door that you ask Mother Gaia to ground your energy. And when you do that, it gives yourself and her permission, and that's Earth, Mother Gaia, by the way, to
Oh
ground your
yeah.
energies
Mm.
into
Oh
the
yeah.
earth.
Mm.
And she will
Sorry
calm
guys.
you. She will take
Mm.
those energies and she will recycle the energies where they need to go, other than you carrying them around with you.
Yeah. Mm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Very important to not carry that with you at any time of point. And if you're going into a situation that you're not feeling comfortable or strong, you could ask your guides to surround you with a white veil of white light to protect you from picking up other people's energy, so you're not carrying that stuff home.
Hi Crystal.
But make
Yeah. Mm.
bringing only good energy to your home, and that you're
Yep.
protecting yourself when you're entering out in
Yeah.
public
Yeah.
because of the negative and the
Right.
energy that's out right now. And there's a lot of empaths that don't know they're empaths, and they will absorb energy just like a sponge. And you could leave your home in a very high vibe state of mind because you created that vibe and you're living it. But you could go to work or go to the store or even to the doctors, get bad news, whatever it is. You've walked out with energy from other people. You've
Yeah.
walked out from a bad situation. And through the meditation and the grounding, you can relieve that 100%. Take that out of your ego mind, take it off your physical body, and your body and your mind will start to heal when you start to calm your mind and do the meditation and the grounding.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the trouble a lot of people have is just that is that we're taught that we're supposed to, sit in a lotus position with our palms up and like this, like Buddha, and then we're supposed to enter like a trance-like state, and that's not always true.
You
Yeah,
do not
that's
have to
not.
do that.
I mean, yes, sometimes I will do that to gain a more deep sense of calming, and I do that whenever I want to go deeper. But that's not exactly how you have to do it. I mean, you can be driving and if you're in your mind and you're working things out and you're conversating with what you think is yourself, you're actually talking to your guides. You're technically meditating. Okay, that is meditation. Um, Doing the dishes. I do that a lot if I'm doing the dishes or folding laundry. Okay, if you're in your mind, you are, and you're conversating with your guides, you are meditating. You don't have to.
They say dishes is one of the best things, Trish, or folding laundry, because when you are doing dishes or you are folding laundry, those are good examples, because meditation is basically you calming your mind to do one thing at a time.
Exactly.
You
Yep.
can't wash 10 dishes at a time. You can
Hmm.
only wash one dish at a time. You can only fold, one t-shirt at a time.
Yep. Yep.
So those doing those household chores can either feel like a chore, or you can look at them at a new perspective and say, I'm going to go meditate. I'm going to do the dishes.
Mm. Yep. Yep. Exactly. Yep. And that's your
It's always
excuse to
time. You
get
can be
things
like, oh
done.
God, I got
Mm.
to do the dishes. The
Yep.
dishes are never done. You
No,
could
you're
see
just
it that
caught
way.
up. Yep. Right.
Totally
You're just caught
do
up.
that.
Mm. Exactly.
Yeah.
We do
But
have a
we
question here
meditate.
from
And
Heather. Heather
you're
says,
safe.
I've never caught your live before, and I'm not sure if this is relevant, but I've always wondered why I could feel other people's negative emotions, even if they showed it on their face. I was pleasant, and I've been told that I'm an empath. I don't know if that's true, and I don't even know what question to ask you about it. So it's a good subject to bring up because she says that she doesn't know she's an empath, and let me tell you, we are
Yeah.
all everything. We aren't just empaths. We aren't just clairvoyants. We are not just all. I'm sorry. We are not just psychics, or we are not just mediums, or whatever oracles or whatever it is that you hear these labels from. We are all
You
from the same source. We are all everything, which means that we all have those empathic abilities. It's just that some of us express it a little bit differently or express it a little more intensely. And then whenever we do express it a little more intensely, then that means that we do have that's when you get called it's a gift, okay? Because you're expressing it on a level that you're taking notice to it, okay? Um so absolutely, and you are picking up from other people's negative emotions because you are expressing that empathic ability. But the main thing to note is that, you need to be understanding how to set those boundaries and understand how to push out your own energy rather than taking in other people's. And this happens so much to everybody, so I'm not picking on you by any means. I mean, don't take it that way because I'm so guilty about it that I do it too, and then I have to catch myself. Um, a lot of us, what we're having to learn now is that we need to understand to stop taking, I'm sorry, stop absorbing other people's negative emotions and start pushing out our own positive emotion,
Yeah.
positive
Instead of
vibe. Yep. Their
instead of
vibe is
letting
what
your
I mean. Yep.
body become a sponge,
Exactly.
create the barrier around you.
Yep. And honestly, this is why a lot of empaths get stuck in a loop of negative relationships or that because we're so actually it's the people that actually have negative vibrations or negative emotions are actually drawn to us because they sense that we're there to help and we have that compassion, like they know that they need it, their energy knows that they need it, so their energy kind of sends them to us because we're supposed to, because they know that we're going
Energy
to draw that out of
bounces
them, right?
usually.
Mm-hmm. But and then we're supposed to transmute it is actually what we're supposed to do, but we do that by pushing out our own positive vibe. So what I've created my own system with, I create that eggshell bubble of a positive energy around me. So I and visualize that white liquid light around me, and then an eggshell around that, and then I visualize, those negative vibes just bouncing off of it, and they cannot penetrate it. So that's kind of what I
Yes,
do, and it works. It works. It's a liquid
and I
light, an
find
eggshell
it
of liquid light. Yep.
as a veil of
Yep.
like a doily veil, like somebody has crocheted,
Mhm.
I see mine as a veil, like as yeah, a veil.
And you know what? And you can envision it however you want, as long as it works
Yep.
for you. As long as it
As
works for
long as
you. Yep.
so
And I just do the eggshell because it works. I mean, it's
yes,
whatever is going to work, do that. And liquid light is the most specific thing that works for me. As and I can't just visualize streaming light. It has to be liquid light. Like it has to be like a glowing liquid light. That's what works for me. So you play around with it too, though. If that doesn't work for you, then try something else. Try something that makes you feel good. Whatever is resonating with your energy, play around with it. And when you find something that works for you, stick with it. Okay. I've
I want to
had
touch
my.
on that subject too.
Mm,
Another aspect of that question, and I want to thank her for the question. I want to thank everybody for the questions this evening. But on the other part, I thought she said something about when she could see some people seem really nice with a smile on their face, but their energy catches her. She catches their energy,
mm,
and I want her to understand that energy doesn't lie. Energy does not rearrange. That if you are coming in contact with somebody who has a smile on their face, but your energy is picking up that they are a dark entity or they have bad intentions, please heed the warning. A pretty face doesn't mean a pretty heart. A
yep.
pretty face doesn't mean a pretty soul. A smile
Exactly.
on a face does not
Exactly.
always mean happy.
Listen to the
A
heart
smile on a face
first.
can
Yep.
be a mask for anger, a mask for depression. Your energy is going to speak louder than anybody's
Yep.
physical appearance. So
Yep.
please be aware and pay attention to that energy because your energy is going to always, always, always. I mean, if you think about walking into a store, your energy has already hit the back of the store and bounced back to you 5 times before you've walked in 10 feet.
Yep.
Our energies are always, always, always coinciding with everybody else's because that's what happens. That's how it works. So know that if you are picking up on somebody's energy that isn't good, please protect yourself so you do not absorb that energy.
Yeah, and it takes. You're not going to learn it in a day. So tomorrow, if you're still kind of having that lingering, it's okay. It's not something you learn in a day. I spent months, if not a couple of years, learning how to perfect that. And it didn't happen right away, no. But I noticed a difference, and in the next week, I noticed a difference. That I was
And
no
you know what's
longer
funny?
feeling drained being around certain people, that
No,
I was able to be around certain people a little bit longer because I was not focusing on their negativeness. Um,
yeah.
I have a good point here that I want to go over that was somebody that made a comment. So, Nicola says I'm a medium and I can connect with others, but I can't my own sister. So the reason being is because it's too close to you. It's in your family.
I see that. It's her
Yep.
too close.
I
You
have
can't
that
reach.
too. I have that too. I have other family members that come to me wanting to bring through my other family members, and yes, I can on some, and sometimes I can. It is so much easier for me to connect with a perfect stranger than it is my own grandfather. Have
And
I brought through my own
because
grandfather? Absolutely. But the issue there is that it's too close to me. There's so much emotional attachment and I know the person too well. So my main issue about that is that I know the person too well, so I'm constantly worried that I'm going to be playing off of what I know about the person, that I'm not going to get it right. So then it's blocking me. And because I want to bring through a message that's right, but I don't want to be, but I still it's the answer is that it's just too close for you. The best way, honestly, to do it is to remove all emotional attachments to the person, at least for that time, at least for 10 minutes, so that you can bring in that energy and read and bring through messages for whoever is wanting to. If it's for yourself, then for yourself. So, and you can still love the person. Of course, I'm not asking you to de-love the person for 10 minutes and then you can re-love them again whenever it's all done. It's more or
That's the
less,
emotional connect
yeah,
for a moment.
it's more, exactly, it's more or less removing those emotional strings and bipartisans and bias, removing all those strings. Yeah,
Energetically, emotionally connected.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
forever, just while you're doing the reading, clear the
yeah.
channel.
Exactly. It just, while you're doing the reading, ask them to remove all emotional strings for a period of
Yeah,
just a few minutes so that I can bring through, and it may not happen immediately. I will say that it will not happen immediately. It may, I guess, but usually it takes me a good while after I do that to cut all the ties for me to bring through. They'll come randomly after a while, and then I have to stop what I'm doing and then bring through some things, and then I gotta go right back to what I was doing, um, but yeah, the reason being is it's just too close. So, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I have to explain to my other family members that yes, I can, but it's gonna take me a little bit of time because of the way that, you know,
step back to clear the channel.
yeah,
Absolutely.
and plus two, time doesn't. There's no time on that dimension, so they have to coordinate. When I'm doing something with the right time, because again, their time frames are not. It doesn't. There is no time, so
Well,
there's a lot of things. It's complicated, and it's almost like they have to schedule a time to come in, and but for me, it's got to be random. So yeah, it's there's a whole thing
a
to it. It's a lot
suggestion for you
more.
to read, sister, that if maybe she has a medium friend that could do her a favor and read for her sister if she cannot find a clear channel, because maybe she won't be able to clear that channel because she's so close to her sister,
Yeah,
that maybe
yeah,
she has a close friend who's a medium who would read for her sister
sure,
if
sure.
she's able
Mm,
to clear her own channel. I
yeah,
mean, you reach out to your team. Reach out to your team. Sometimes you have to reach out to your teams, and you might find yourself unable because of the emotional attachments. I mean, me or Trish, neither one of us know how close you are to your sister or what ties you have,
yeah, yeah,
and maybe those ties are too strong, and you're not able to clear that channel. You might just be able to ask one of your friends that are a medium, if they would take it, and they could read for your sister. Reach out to your team. Sometimes we have to ask for help here in the physical world.
yeah. And
Maybe you
it's
have a friend
okay
that,
to, yeah.
you know,
And it's okay to ask for help. I mean, I have to break down and ask for help sometimes. And the odd thing about readers is that, and I'm guilty of this too, is that we rarely have ourselves read. And there's nothing wrong with having yourself read by any means. Um, and so if you do know a friend that does readings, or maybe you can trade if you're a medium, maybe trade readings, or something to that nature. I've done that.
don't feel like a failure. Don't feel like a failure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
Feel
no. Yeah, I
like
don't. Yeah. Right.
that, sometimes
Definitely
that
not.
connection's too strong. Don't feel like a failure. Reach out and ask for help if you're unable to clear the channel.
Yeah.
Don't feel,
Yeah.
like you've done anything wrong or your abilities aren't what you thought they were, because that isn't the facts. I mean, we just come in here and, like we were talking about earlier, we have soul contracts. We have people that came in here with us, and sometimes our energy signatures are a lot alike and very similar. And because of that, you know, it's hard for the other side to distinguish the energy signature of who you're actually trying to connect to.
Yep.
So yeah, reach out for help if you can. Yeah, barter with a friend that does medium. Hey, you read my sister, I'll read your brother Joe. Don't be
Mm-hmm.
afraid to ask, and don't feel like a failure. You're not doing anything wrong.
Yep. You got it.
Yeah,
You got it.
clear.
Yep. Does anybody have any more questions? I mean, there's quite a few of you on. I'm more than happy to answer whatever we can.
And if anybody has had any weird experiences lately with UFOs
Yeah.
or energy or
Yeah.
any of that, I would love to hear about it, because I'll tell you what, this girl right here has had some experiences lately.
Yeah, yeah.
So
We were talking about
military
that. Yes.
in the sky.
So who all have seen videos in the past week? I mean, the whole UFO activity has just, as a whole community, has increased like I don't know 100-fold in the past week. There have been
Absolutely.
so many sightings.
Absolutely.
And it's not just one UFO anymore that people are seeing at one time. It's like 20 UFOs together. And
I think
they're actually being caught on camera, which is insane. Like all 20 of them are entering the frame just at the right time. And now I understand you tried to video one. Yep, yep,
last week.
yep. And you tried to video it right, but unfortunately, the video you just couldn't see the lights from it. Yep. Oh yeah. Um.
And
Yep.
the video would not play on Facebook. I tried to put the video on Facebook twice. One day they never played, so I tried it again a different way to try to get it in. They wouldn't allow it. I even made a video telling people to get outside. That video did make it to Facebook, not the video that I tried to video exactly what I was seeing. Even though I didn't capture it,
Gotcha.
you could hear four
Oh yeah.
adults trying to explain away what we're ours are seeing,
Exactly.
and um, you know,
Exactly. And
it
you can hear their
they
reactions. You can see like the planet behind it, of course, but you couldn't see, unfortunately, because she did send it to me on my messenger, so it allowed her to send it in messenger, but it would not allow her to post it on Facebook at all. Now I did find I came in contact with somebody else that had recorded, not the one in Montana, but there was the same thing that happened down in, I want to say, Colorado, like less than 2 days later. It was the same exact thing that you were describing, and it was like there were several of these
yeah.
moving lights that were coming out of, like, it was like there was just a portal in midair, and all these moving lights came pouring in, and there was like 2 dozen of them. And this is recorded. Somebody caught this on video. I don't know what happened to the video since then because I couldn't find it. I was trying to find it for you guys and bring it on here and show you on screen. I couldn't find it.
They,
Mm.
yeah, mine isn't visible. But what had happened to us is, I'll tell you, like, it was. I went to visit a friend because, of course, we're in lockdown, we're social distancing, and I knew it was safe to go see her because she's only taking care of her elderly father. So it's just her and her husband at home. And so me and my babes, we decided we were going to drive. Oh gosh, my phone's gonna die. We're gonna
Oh
drive over
no.
and we're gonna go visit them. So we decide we're gonna have a smoke break, and we go outside and we're smoking our cigarettes, and we see things moving around in the sky, and we're like, wow, 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 right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that wasn't, I've seen a lot of UFOs in my life. I've encountered a lot. I've seen a lot of UFOs, so I wasn't too shocked. I was like, yeah, yeah, we have a lot of
Yeah.
activity in
Yep.
Montana.
Mm-hmm.
But then, as we're standing out there, a Huey helicopter, military helicopter, comes flying over their house
Yeah,
heading
and
east.
and that was the other interesting thing was that the helicopter came first. Yep. Mm, yep.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, it goes east after, we had seen a few things in the sky. And then the helicopter is like, wow, we have no military bases up here. We're in the middle of northwest Montana. Our
right.
nearest towns are an hour each way. So we are really up in the mountains, like, and, we're like, wow, why would the military copter decide to fly over the mountains we're in right now, first of all? And when we were looking up at the sky, everything in the sky goes this way. It's all going this way. That's how the stars move. That's how the sun moves. From the sun, rises in the east and it sets in the west. That's how it goes.
Right.
Well, what we seen, first, we seen it's a band. It was a band. Like if you looked in the sky, it was just a band this thin. It was just a thin band this thin. But in these band was intelligently controlled bright white light orbs inside that band, and they were all coming out of a hole in the sky which looked like this, and
Yep.
they were coming out and they were all going to the east, and they were coming out 2 by 2 by 2, and they
Yep.
were all going in this straight line, all of them, as the stars and everything is moving this way. All this hole, and they're all 2 by 2. They're coming out, and they're all trying to keep up with the first one that came out.
Isn't that
Well, after
something?
watching that, we're watching literally the sky like bend. It literally looked like the fabric of the sky was changing. And we, the first 20 of them were astounding. We're just astounded. And we're just standing there like, oh my gosh, are we really seeing this? So we're like, oh my gosh, we need to go grab our men.
I
We need to
know.
bring them out here.
I
Like,
so
they need
wish
to
I could
see
have
what we're
seen
seeing.
that. Yeah. I
Oh
would so wish I was there. Yeah. Yep.
My honey's in a wheelchair, so we take him. We get his wheelchair out there, get her husband out there, and we're all standing on the porch, and we witness at least 60 of these lights moving in our skies, open up from a porthole, going the opposite direction of everything else in the sky.
That's
Like
awesome.
literally going the direction. Like this, like I'm still like 5, 6 days later going, like this couldn't have happened, but it did happen. It did happen. And my children are 3 hours from me east. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to call my children. I've got to call them now. They need to get outside. They need to see what I'm seeing in the
I
sky.
know. Yeah, that was.
And they see the Huey helicopter, but they never did get to witness in the sky what we beheld that night. Like I'll never forget what I seen. And I'm glad I got the recording because you can hear all four of us trying to explain what we're seeing and how amazing it was, but I could not for the life of me catch these things on my little Samsung
I know,
cell phone.
darn it. But I think that's just part of what happens is that a lot of times these things are recorded, and then there's some kind of a frequency thing where they just don't even show up in the camera feed. However, they are still present, but it's like the being that is occupying it is somehow creating a frequency that's not allowing it to show up on these pictures because of exposure.
We was not Elon Musk's satellite. These were intelligently controlled ships.
Yep,
These
I
were
believe
not
it.
satellites. These were not in a tethered line.
Yep.
No, these were all coming out individually.
Yep.
2 by 2 by 2 by 2. I want to make that perfectly clear because I have heard that by so many people.
Yep.
Like, oh, it's probably Elon Musk. This has nothing to do with Elon Musk. He couldn't even do this if he tried.
No.
This was so far advanced
Yep.
from anything. And I've seen a lot of UFO ships. I mean, I've seen UFO ships that were above mountains here in Montana that were shooting little orbs down onto our mountains that were like surveying with laser lights. I've seen some stuff. But what I seen that night was so completely advanced, so completely different. I mean, it took the space-time continuum of our sky, literally looked like it was a piece of fabric. Somebody put a hole in and started letting out these white or going in the wrong direction. Like, absolutely phenomenal. And Trish, I have to go grab my charger. My phone is going to die.
Oh yeah,
so
no,
let me go grab my charger.
That's okay. That's okay.
I want to, if anybody else out there is witnessing very strange phenomenon, because there is a lot. I'm not the only one experiencing this. It's going on all around the world.
Yep.
People are putting out YouTube videos. So don't be afraid to speak up because you're not the only one seeing them. And if you have stories, we would love to hear them. I shall repeat like that.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, definitely. And that's what I was saying earlier. These things have increased like 100-fold just in the last week or two. And then it's no coincidence that we're now seeing like 110 on the Schumann resonance and that. But Again, it's because of exposure, that this would happen, that they wouldn't show up on camera, but yet you are still hearing the reactions of the people. So we know that something did happen. Um, but this is just the kinds of things that are happening. And I will say that the technology that we're seeing coming out now in 2020, 2021 still is significantly less than what it was. Um, so and don't be afraid to speak up whenever you do have an experience because you're not the only one right now. You are not the only one. I have not personally witnessed a whole lot. No, I have been more aware of pay attention to cloud formations and that because they have been known to look like a funny looking cloud, but in reality, it's more of a trans-dimensional ship. So just pay attention, guys. Um, and again, so the experience that Larissa was describing was one that she experienced about 2 days later. I saw another one in the state of Colorado that was exactly the same, and they were able to record what happened there. Again, I could not find it to bring it on, and since then I found another one. I forget where that one was at. However, same thing. Only this time, and I still can't find the video of this one, but only this time it showed one of them coming up a little bit closer to them, and it's almost like they glowed their light. It's almost like it glowed really bright, and then it dimmed back down, and then it flew off, just like the rest of them. I mean, it was like it was an acknowledgement, and there's no way that a pilot, a regular old pilot, would know how in the world to even do that. There's no way to, there's just no way. Do you guys have any other questions, guys? Anything at all? I can wait for a minute. How is everybody doing with this whole quarantine thing? I really didn't ask that yet. I guess everybody's doing okay. I am a nurse myself, so I don't get time off. So I don't get quarantined. I gotta go right in the middle of all of it. Thankfully, I have not had a problem, no. Knock on wood. Have not come in contact with anybody. Again, I talked about earlier, a lot of the numbers are just not adding up. Not adding up. So something to keep in mind whenever you are getting these numbers from like the World Health Organization and there's another one that I got it from, but yeah, the numbers are just not they're not there, not supporting what's going on in the community that I'm seeing. The numbers are not supporting it. Yeah. Um, and actually, in my company, because we get updates every day, we are actually seeing a level off of the positive numbers that are coming back from the testing. They're not showing you that. I've noticed nowhere has announced that there's been a level off, and it's been about for the last week that there's been that plateau. So not quite sure whether or not announcing that, but um, let's see. Unless they just don't want people to um, I just don't know. I just don't know what they wouldn't want done. But all I can know is, yes, of course, we need to be careful. And yes, they're making it very obvious that something deeper is going on. It's not just this, it's not just a virus. There's obviously something much deeper and probably darker going on than what we see here on the surface. Absolutely. And yes, I am applying to below our feet and above our head. So there's a lot more going on in the skies. There's a lot more going on underneath our feet, and in the spiritual world too. Alright, guys, I need some questions. Questions.
And I'm sorry, Trish, I'm trying to find a setup here. I can set my phone up with it plugged in.
No,
So
you're
just give me
fine,
a.
hon. You're fine. Let's see. Sarah says that I just moved into a new house, and one night I saw and felt someone get into my bed and cuddle with me. Whoo! Oh goodness.
Oh,
Um,
God.
you know, and I don't,
Yourself.
yeah, Sarah, I don't feel like it was anything negative by any means. I think that if it was more negative, you would be further traumatized, and you would be, I don't get fear from you reading that. So, I'm not picking up that it's anything sinister. What we have to understand mostly is spirit souls that are in houses or just haven't moved on, or even our loved ones, if they're kind of hanging around for their funeral or whatever, they're just kind of wanting us to know that they're there. They're not there to hurt us. They're not there to make harm or cause any kind of trouble or anything or cause to hurt another person. But a lot of times they're
Reminder
just
that
wanting to know
if,
that they're there, and to pay attention to there.
if something does scare her, to remind them that they have no power over us on this plane.
Exactly. Exactly.
If
Yep.
it is bad, to remind her that they have no power over us
Yep. Yep.
unless we let them. Unless we let them.
And that goes for anything, nothing holds power over us unless we let it. So, especially, negative emotions or negative entities of any kind, of any spiritual or physical entities that are negative. Unless we allow it, unless we kind of are to scoop to that level a little bit, then now if we are a mopey person, if we are a depressed, we have a lot of repetitive negative emotions and thoughts, then we kind of allow ourselves to be kind of a little bit more open to the negative energies and entities. Yes. So again, as we said earlier, the best way to overcome virus, feeling drained anytime you're around somebody or anything like that is to again push off your own positive and create your own positive energy. There's something that I talk about a lot called automatic thoughts, and we all have these. It's just those thoughts that automatically go to your mind whenever you see something or hear something or experience something. You have these automatic thoughts, and a lot of the automatic thoughts that are programmed in humanity today are negative because of TV violence, because of video game violence, because of, people cannot walk down the street without somebody rolling their eyes at you because you look different than they do. Or somebody, proclaiming you, a horrible person because you're a certain religion. We can't go through life without having these, absolutely, but it's how we perceive them, it's how we react to it. If we react in a manner that's judgment or remorse or hatred, then you know what? Um, Guess what? Then that reaction then creates a whole chain of programmed automatic thoughts from there on out after each time you interact with a certain person. Now, if we react in such a way that, they're still learning, they're on a different stage of learning than I am. I get it, I understand. They are not to a point where they can accept that somebody else has a different religion. I get it. So if we react from a more positive, understanding, compassionate framework of perception, then we kind of more apt to create more of a positive automatic thought from there on out, therefore raising our vibration as a whole, therefore raising our vibration up high enough to where we're not, affected by situations like that. We're no longer going to be affected by the negative person that reacts to a person of a different religion. We're no longer going to be affected by the violence that we see on TV. Yes, okay, and I'm not saying that we should dismiss the violence that we see on TV, especially if it's, you know, all this fighting and stuff that we see on the news stories. I'm not saying not care about it. I am saying see it, acknowledge it, understand it, and then explain to yourself, yes, I see the fighting, I see the violence, I see what's going on. Yes, I know it's there. I understand that, the world is purging and that a lot of things are the cause of this purging, and this is why I've come into earth. This is exactly why I'm here, to further teach and transmute my own energy and my own karmic debt, therefore creating more positive karmic debt, and therefore creating generations of learning and growing and advancing and understanding. So I hope that makes sense. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Did you get it set up, Larissa?
Yeah, I think so. How
Okay.
do you see
Good.
me? I
Good.
had to switch myself around.
Good. Okay.
I believe it's.
Yeah, it looks
Guys, let me
fine. It looks fine. Yep.
know if you can see me. Then
It looks great.
I think I'm good.
It looks great. Awesome. Yep. Well,
Yeah,
I
I
tell
have
you
to
what.
unplug it. Oh my God. My phone's gonna die.
Yeah, oh yeah, and really, I said I probably ought to go ahead and wrap it up. It's about 2 in the morning, where it's almost 2:30 actually. So I tell you what, I'm gonna give everybody a couple of minutes, to kind of type a question, because if they have one, because I know there's a lag. So Sarah says, thank you for service to the healthcare system. I love my job. I love what I do. I wouldn't have it any other way. Um, what other field? The other day, so I was with a patient. I work hospice, by the way, for those of you that don't know. I'm a hospice nurse, so I go into home visits, and I was somebody's nurse for 15 months, and then she passed away not too long ago. And I bet you that I felt that just as much as the blood family, because I saw this person twice a week for 15 months. You get to know somebody, and there's a way of detaching without detaching to where you don't care about them, not necessarily, but you can detach but still be attached, if that makes any sense. So you learn that working in hospice. So, and maybe that's one of my lessons that I'm learning from working as a hospice nurse, is to detach but not, but still be attached. But anyway, um, however, she had passed away, and she actually passed away on my birthday, which was a little ironic. But so as a hospice nurse, usually when somebody passes, you have to go to the family, to the home, and call, make the appropriate phone calls and that. But so the family doesn't have to, they can just kind of focus on being there, and you can do all the busy work. But so I go there, and it was just such a lovely thing, and it was just at the beginning of the start of all this COVID stuff, and so it was like the day after they limited, group gatherings more than 10. It was just crazy. But about a week and a half, 2 weeks later, I get a knock at the door, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know, and it was on a weekend, so well, I opened the door to a flower van, and the family had flowers sent to my house as a thank you for taking care of their family member. And then about a couple of days later, I got a letter in the mail with a handwritten note, saying thank you. You treated her like she was your family. Yet you still stay professional, and she looked forward to you, that you would just get her mind off of what she was headed for. And it made me stop and think and appreciate what I do. There is no other job in the world that you can get that kind of appreciation for what you do. And I'm grateful to be a part of that. I wouldn't have it any other way. But that was just amazing. It made me feel good about what I do, and reminded me why I do what I do. Yep. And then Sarah says, I definitely felt it was a reassurance from a loved one. Okay.
Right
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
all the healthcare workers that that you're there for the person.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's for
Sometimes
them,
people get
right?
caught up in their jobs and
Right.
they forget why they're there.
Yep, it's for them. Yeah, and, each time I have a bad day, or which doesn't really come that often, but there's days that are really busy that get just stressful. But I do it for them. I don't do it for my own benefit. But then again, I kind of do, because then I get a sense of gratitude for the way that I've helped somebody, I guess. So it's kind of a full circle. But there's no other job in the world that I can think of that you would get that kind of uh, self appreciation, I should say, for what you do for your own self. Not necessarily appreciation from the family, yes, of course, but it made me feel good about what I do, and that I'm helping somebody, I'm making a difference. So, but
Yeah.
it's crazy, because I see people on this side moving to that side, and then I see them when they get over to that side, because I have a lot of that patients after they pass. I'll have a dream about them later on. They will come to me sometimes. No, I can't always get the message to the family, but I get a lot of heartfelt appreciation from, and then I'm allowed to see the bigger picture of how far it's branching out. So, but there's no other job in the world that I would rather have right now. I mean, really, there's not. I would, however, like to branch out and be more available with this, though, as far as my channelings and my videos. And I mean, I would love to come on here every day, wouldn't you? And just talk, and
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, not every day maybe, but I mean,
I
close
feel like
enough. Yeah, close
we
enough.
didn't even touch a couple salt grains of really what I thought I would talk about tonight. But we let our messages come as they're
Yeah,
supposed to. So
exactly.
yeah, it would be nice
Yep,
if we were able to have
yep,
this as a second income to
yep.
be able to come on and help more often. Yes,
I would
absolutely. I
love
feel like
that.
that's why
Yeah,
we're here. It's our calling.
yeah.
We're here to
But
help.
unfortunately, I have to work a full time job also, because I have to also have a roof over my head and eat food and stuff. So, so I like doing that stuff. So, but there's ways on like YouTube and that you can get paid for doing videos, and I'm trying to get all my traffic to go on Facebook, also on YouTube, because there are 18,000 people that like the Healing Oracle Facebook page. If every one of you would get on YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube channel, I could very much get sponsored to where I could make money, but also be giving you full time information. I would absolutely love it and be overjoyed if I could spend all day on here teaching and channeling and bringing through much needed messages and information, especially during this time. So, all of you that watch, please go over to the YouTube and search for the channel. It's the Healing Oracle 1111, and subscribe and share so that I can get closer to that slowly but surely. Um, and I would love to get more courses. I've done a course here and there very sporadically, where I will do like a private group and do live feeds in these private groups for those that in a specific type of class, course. Either the one I did was on expansion of clairvoyance, that's been a while back, but um, I want to offer more classes, maybe a Saturday a month, or, a Saturday every couple of weeks or so. Maybe do one where I come up here and talk just only about doing expansion of clairvoyance. I think that would be great. And then I can have Larissa come on and kind of add her 2 cents as well on what's going on. But let's see. It's beautiful and very special to guide those souls through the next stage. Oh yeah, I love it. I love it how I see them on this side, and then I see them on the other side too. Like there's probably no other better setup in the whole world. It's like I'm like in the perfect spot. I see them before they go, and I'm able to ease that transition, and then I see them after they go, and then I'm able to ease that transition. So it's actually pretty cool. And if you read up on the goddess Isis, if you read up on her energy and what she did in ancient Egypt, she was actually named the goddess of death, not because she was,
Yeah.
death followed her. It wasn't that. It's because she actually took the souls after they died. She led them into death, and then when they passed away, the souls, she would actually guide into where they were supposed to go into the afterlife. So that's
Yep.
exactly what she did in Egypt. Um,
Right. The passage. Yep. The
yep,
passage.
exactly. I guess when people hear the goddess of death, then they hear bad things, but that's actually not what it was. It was because she coached the death. She coached the dead into where they were supposed to go before they passed and after they passed. Um, so, okay, so there was one other thing that I wanted to add. Oh, but long story short, again, I'm trying to get a lot of traffic over to the YouTube channel so we can do that. I would just love to be able to do this to make this my job as well, and then maybe work a PRN at work still, like 1 day a week, still do hospice, but to make this, but it's just not plausible right now. I've got a mortgage and food I gotta eat and buy I got 3 mouths to feed, that are barely out of diapers, so, um,
Yeah. You have little type. So.
exactly, right, yep, well, one is still in diapers, yes, and then one that's full grown, but, very much takes as much as a 5-year-old as far as
Oh,
busy
yeah.
work.
Well, good grief. They eat more than a 5-year-old.
Exactly, for
They
real.
get to eat.
Yes, for real. I mean, really, yes. Holy cow. Between him and my husband, I can't eat. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can't keep food in the house. So, but and it bothers me that there's so much argument going on around about whether psychics should charge for their work. Come on. They have to eat just like everybody else does. I cannot go to the grocery store and trade the cashier a reading for my full cart of groceries. It doesn't work that
Right.
way. I cannot go to the mortgage company and trade a Reiki healing or a past life reading for my mortgage payment. It's not that's not they have to eat too and they have to live. So that bothers me that there's so much until we get to a system that does not involve
Yeah,
monetary.
equal exchange, a barter system. That
Yep,
would be great.
exactly. When you go, does it not require an energy exchange whenever somebody is doing a healing for you or a reading for you? Does it not require an energy exchange whenever you go to a restaurant and that server serves you and takes your order and
Yeah.
serves you drinks and whatever? They have to eat too, just as much as a reader does. They have to eat. They can't go off of hopes and dreams. Not in this world right now. Until we can XA on the monetary system, and that's just the way it's gotta be. I'm sorry. No.
Right, it's a different type of job, but the job is just as important nonetheless.
Yeah,
Because
exactly. Right,
spiritual,
exactly. Yep,
a spiritual
exactly. Yep,
teacher is no different than a doctor, honestly,
yeah.
except they're teaching a person to heal themselves, where a doctor, your job isn't really to heal anybody. I'm
No,
sorry to
no,
say
no,
that,
it's
but
to
it's
push,
the truth.
push
They are
pharmaceuticals.
the job, I
Exactly.
think, and they're
Yep,
there
yep.
to keep the patient coming back.
And they get a
Whereas a
drawback. They
healer,
get a pushback for each medication that they push. They get $400 for each pill of this that they sell. And it's incredible. It's incredible. It's more of a business than it is anything anymore. Yep.
yeah, to
Yep.
heal themselves, so they don't have to see a doctor. So,
Right.
it's a job nonetheless. But I would rather be a spiritual anything
Yep.
and get paid to do that, because that's what I am. I'm a spiritual person. I'm here to help people.
Yep.
So that's the road that we're on, regardless of the 3D life that we have to live, that requires us to work and whatnot.
You got
I'm
it.
fortunate enough I don't have to work right now, but I have had to work hard in my life.
Yep. Oh
And
yeah. Sure.
there comes a time in life where I understand this is a 3D job. It's essential. It's essential. That's what it is. It's essential.
Yeah,
But our real job in life, if we could call it that, our mission is to get out here and help the people. We want to
exactly.
help you.
Exactly,
You know,
for
we want
sure.
to find the time and also live our lives and be able to, support our families, but we want to help the masses.
Yep, absolutely. Why not make it my job? If I can get sponsored on YouTube, then then we could do something like that, and we could be up here every day and bring through
Helping
knowledge and
other,
channelings, and I could be making a YouTube video once a day for you guys whenever following my channeling sessions with my guides. But I can't do that now, and that's the trouble with the world is there's not enough teachers, spiritual teachers, because nobody has the time to sit down and do the spiritual work that's required because we have to work a 9 to 5 job to pay the bills, to eat, to have a roof over our head. There's just not enough spiritual teachers out there right now because of it.
Your
So,
opinion on that subject, Trish, with we have the Great Awakening is going on around
oh
the world.
yeah, definitely.
Whether people realize that they are being awakened is probably, is beyond them, but it is happening.
Oh yeah.
And us spiritual teachers are going to have to step up. We've got to
Yep.
help the people some way, shape or form. It's going to have to happen.
Yes.
People are waking up. They're starting to get confused. They don't
Yep.
understand like what's going on. And the thing is there's
Yep.
such a bigger, larger, grander
Yep.
scheme of things going on that people are going to start turning to people like you and I, and there's not
Yes.
enough of us out there. And
No,
so
and I agree. And I was over this past weekend. Actually, I was going to do some work on my website. I'm going to revamp my entire website because at the healingoracle.com because or it's healingoracle1111.com because there is literally now there was an awakening happening before, yes, but nothing like what's going on right now. It is incredibly
it's on a
it
grand
has
scheme.
exploded. It has
Every
exploded. The awakening has exploded, and there's no stopping it. There are more and more hundreds of thousands of more people waking up every day right now. And people are coming out of it a little confused, just as much as I was whenever it happened spontaneously for me. I was kind of in a daze for a while because I didn't know what to do. Like, I didn't know how to act anymore because I wasn't the same person. I had all this knowledge, and I didn't know what to do with it. And people are waking up to the fact that our government is completely, there are a lot of bad things going on inside of our governmental bodies right now, and people are waking up to that. People are understanding that something isn't right. Something's not right. We're not being told
yeah,
the right information. We're being barred from growing our own food and catching our own food. What's up with that? That shouldn't happen. People are
right. And
understanding there's something not right.
waking up now,
Yep.
they have it a little easier than when we woke up, Trish, because
Yeah.
right now they're uncensoring Google. So everything that we talk about, whether far fetched or not, you're able to go and do your own research, which is very
Exactly.
nice.
Right.
Because I started waking up in the 90s, there was nobody I could talk to
Yep.
because the things I was saying was so far beyond anybody's
Oh yeah,
comprehension that
definitely.
I knew. Like they did not understand where I was coming from. I
Nope.
couldn't run to my phone. I didn't
Nope.
have a cell phone
Yep.
in the 90s to go Google it, to
Mhm.
YouTube it, to look it up. So fortunately for the masses that are awakening right now, that are coming out of this haze, because they are going to, I mean, they are going to be, walking around like dumbfounded.
Yep.
They
Mhm.
have outlets. They have you and I. They have, the Healing Oracle, the Goddess of Good Vibes. They have the Divine Sisterhood. They have Google. They have YouTube. They have, so many other sources
We
that
didn't
they can
have that.
actually go
We
to
we
look
had to
at
create all
information.
of that, right? Because we did not have that, right?
Can
Yeah,
be fed. Whereas when we woke up,
we had
I mean,
nothing
at
like
least
that.
up,
I
there
had
was,
myself.
there,
Yeah, right. I had
there
myself.
was
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. And that was one of the
they're very
reasons why exactly why I started the page that I did because I kept asking my guys, what am I supposed to do with all of this? Why did this happen to me whenever I can't talk to anybody about it? Whenever I have nobody to ask questions to, I have nobody to get reassurance to, except I'm
That's
going
a
on my
lonely
faith
place
that you
to be.
guys are there and that you guys help me through all this. Because
Yeah.
and so again, they answered with a question and they said, why can't you be the person that somebody else can run to that will further be in your shoes? Was the way that they worded it. Don't you think
Yeah.
there's somebody else out there that's going through what you're doing? Why don't you be that person that you wished you had whenever you went through it? So that is exactly why I created the Healing Oracle page, and that's me, the Healing Oracle. Um,
And that's
and I am
and
here
I
for
decided
you
to
because I
keep my
wanted to be
the
the
goddess of
person
good
that
vibes.
I wished for whenever I went through my awakening and I had nobody. So I want to be that person for you guys because I knew what that
Mhm.
was like, and it sucks not having anybody you can talk to or coordinate with or rely on for answers or reassurance that you're not going crazy besides yourself.
I don't want anybody to feel alone.
Yeah,
I mean, you can
yeah,
always find me and Trish. We have several
yes.
outlets. Trish is the Healing Oracle on Facebook. She's the Healing Oracle 1111 on YouTube. Together, we are the Divine Sisterhood, SisTars United. You can find us on Facebook. And
Mm,
you can also find me, the Goddess of Good Vibes, on Facebook. So there's, other than us, there's many of outlets. But
yeah,
coming
well,
from
yeah, yeah,
the Divine Sister, we decided to do this together because we didn't want anybody to feel the way we did,
yeah,
alone,
yeah.
full of questions, nowhere to go. And our guides, her guide, my guide said, why aren't you and Trish together? Why aren't you guys doing this?
Yep. Yep. And we
So
don't. And I never
push it with
did. Whenever I first started coming on, I never ever scripted anything. I never scripted anything, guys, because I
no,
feel like if I
not.
get up here and talk from a script, that it's not authentic. I'm just reading at that point. I want to bring it through. I want to channel that information intuitively from my guides on the spot because then it's authentic. If I sit here and script it all out, there's apt for change. There's apt for fabrication whenever I script it all out. So this is why I just get up here, channel the information. If somebody asks a question, and I don't have the answer, I wait for my guides to come in and then I give that answer. And Larissa started to do the same things too, I've noticed. So,
Yeah.
and she's kind of a little bit newer at this than I am, but it's still, that is why we don't script. That is why I just come on. I'm sorry, I do about a half an hour meditation before I come on just to talk with my guides about what kind of specific messages that they would like to come that they would like to come through before I come on. And sometimes there's stuff, and sometimes there's not. Sometimes they tell me just to wait for it. Like I've gotten that answer before. I started a meditation and I've asked them, what kind of messages today, and they say just wait for it. So it's like, and then I so I, this so what I'm saying is, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about until I come on. Basically, I have no idea what's going to be said until it's said here. Okay, when somebody asks a
Exactly.
question, it goes in the direction it's meant to go in. I do not script anything. Okay.
When we first started coming on, I was nervous, when Trish would be like, "Oh, hey, Saturday, you want to do a live?" It's like, "Oh my gosh," and I would get so stressed out and go, "Oh my gosh, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to do?" But I'm at the point now where I am completely comfortable when Trish says, "Hey, are we going on tonight?" It's like, "Yes." I
Mm-hmm.
make sure that we do our our prayer or meditation before we come on, but we are just absolutely open to whatever the universe brings out. We do not script our
Yep.
our messages. Our messages are clear from the source, clear from the channel, clear from the collective that's
Mm-hmm.
asking us. That's where our messages come
Yep.
from.
From the
You,
heart, from the
viewer,
soul. Yep.
you the
You
viewer,
got it.
set
Mhm.
mostly, and our guides,
Yep.
and we are just the two teachers, healers, channelers, whatever you want to call us. That's who we are.
You
We are
got it.
just
You
here
got it.
for you.
You
We're
got
here
it.
for you. And we thank you for being here with us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. I appreciate it. And I don't think the YouTube one worked very well, so I had to stop it. But I started recording it instead. So I'm gonna take time after we're done here and try to upload it to the YouTube channel. It just would not cooperate streaming live. I don't know why. It's working fine on Facebook. It's working
I'm glad
perfect.
we have our Facebook friends here.
Yeah, it's working perfect on Facebook. I don't know why YouTube is always giving me such trouble with it. So I'm gonna look and see if I can't, because I've got it recording. Like I said, I can always just upload it. So
Yeah, we want to redirect our friends there, but
yeah,
it's given us such a hard time.
it always has. Oh my gosh. So I'll fix it though. I'll get it worked out. But um,
It
so
comes
anyway,
out the way it's
guys.
meant to. We know that. We know that.
Yeah.
No matter what difficulties we go through, it's also our lesson of learning that we just
Yep.
keep moving forward.
Yeah,
We're going to get there.
exactly. As much as
And
I get frustrated, and the lesson sometimes is that I need to not be frustrated. I need to have
we
patience. That
can't
it's meant
allow
to
ourselves
go.
to get frustrated.
You know what?
But,
And
you know,
speaking of this, it's one other thing I wanted to talk about before we go here. Is perfection, and I know I've spoken about it before. A lot of one of the main issues the humanity has as a whole is that we think that we are supposed to be perfect and everything is supposed to go perfect. And no.
there's
But
no
in
such
the
thing as
sense that, no, it's not perfect, but in the long run, when you really look at it as a whole, everything happens as it's supposed to anyway. So, in a sense,
perfection.
everything is already perfect. But
It works out
our
perfectly.
yes, but our mind, our consciousness, our energy gets caught up in the need for everything to go right exactly how we think it should. But in reality, that's us thinking that we have control over the situation and the lesson. Yes, we have control over innocence, but we need to not let that control, or I'm sorry, we need to not be fixated on that control, because our
To live
obsessive
in control and
nature
not try to
about,
control it.
yeah, yes, and yes, and our obsessive nature about the control is exactly what makes us is exactly what our downfall is, because we're literally blocking that we are blocking that energy from manifesting exactly how we want it to manifest, because we're too
Yep, you're right.
intense. It's
So with
too
it.
intense. Yes. So the actual term that they keep repeating in my head right now is surrender the control to what we actually need to do is understand that the one infinite creator, the source, the God, whatever your term for it is, universe, that is actually what's in control, and everything's perfect under that control. So what we need to do is surrender the control to source, to universe, because that is the all energy. So the all energy already knows exactly how it needs to go to get us to where we're supposed to go. Does that make sense? Everything's actually already perfect, and we're blocking ourselves and we're creating more havoc inside of ourselves, thinking it needs to go a certain way, because it doesn't necessarily need to go any certain way. It is meant to go exactly how it's supposed to, for everybody to learn their lessons and for everybody to create less karma or to repay karma. Everything exactly how it needs to be. So there's no need to be obsessive about control over a situation. We're actually causing more harm to ourselves by doing that. And I am perfectly um, guilty of that as well. So I'm sorry, I was trying to repeat that as I was hearing it, and I was getting more pictures than I was anything. So, um, that's another thing about clairvoyance too. As I was talking to earlier about, that sometimes we're taught that we're supposed to just see and hear things and blatantly like we're having a conversation, but that's not always true either. I get my information by feelings more than I do, but it's more or less feelings in combination with the picture in my inner eye um, and the emotion behind it. So I get more stuff from feelings, but it's like a overall I get it all at once. It's hard to describe, but we're so taught in that society that we seeing is believing, believing is seeing. But I just wanted to add that. But I don't think anybody else has any more questions. I think that it's pretty well kind of calmed down in the chat. So
Probably
so
a good thing because my phone is only at 5%.
oh no, so perfect timing then, huh? Okay.
Yes, but I am so grateful for everybody that came on today, and
Yeah.
I'm also thankful for the people who will pick up and see our videos. Our videos are timeless.
Yep.
Whoever's resonated to watch our videos a week from today, a month from today, a year from today, they were meant to hear the message that we were putting out. And I just want to thank everybody that showed up today and who will show up in the future to watch our videos. Just thank you for
Absolutely.
supporting us and being here. And I want the world to know that faith over fear. Please have faith that we're going to all get through this together. And you can watch the news because we all need to know what's going on, but don't let it feed into our psyche. And if you do let it get into your psyche, because it's bound to, take a moment to calm yourself and meditate and reground. Anytime you feel upset because of anything that's going on right now, please take the time to recenter yourself and to know that we are going to get through this, that these feelings are temporary, the lockdown is temporary, everything is temporary, and that all is well in the eyes of the universe, the eyes of the Almighty, our creator, our source, that everything, like Trish said, is perfect. And as
Yep.
long as you're going with the flow, because we can't control it, just go with the flow, stay positive in your own energy. And if you can, and if you're out in the store and you need to get some essential items, protect yourself on your way in,
Yep. Of
but
course.
also generate love out. Please generate love out. Counteract the fear that's out there. The collective energy needs to change, and it starts with us. You, me, everybody in the morning as we wake up. Please remember to be thankful that you
Yep.
woke up and that you were given another day. And to just be positive and make sure you're staying in contact with people if you're lonely or you're sad or you're feeling alone.
Yep.
Because
Exactly.
a lot of that
And
energy
we're
is
here
just
for
waiting
you.
to
Yeah,
collect.
we're here
Not
for
ready
you.
to.
Reach out. Yeah, reach out to either
Yes.
Larissa or me, or on the page, or in the spiritual life coaching group. Or the Divine Sister group. Anywhere you can find us, reach out. We're here for you. And and you're not the only ones. Don't ever feel like you're alone, because you're never ever alone. You've got us. You've got your spirit guides, and you are loved, beyond what you can even
I do.
imagine by us and your spirit guides and your guardian angels. That's all they know over there where they're at, is love and compassion. So that's all they can feel. So you are loved beyond imagine. Not to mention your past loved ones that have already gone before you, and they're there on your team as well. But we live in a world, in a universe that runs off of love. Like, that's its fuel, is love. For
Yes,
real.
our
I
highest
mean,
frequency,
honestly, if
our body
for
knows
real.
love.
Yep, that's what makes the universe run, is love, literally. It's like gas to a car. It's love. Seriously. I mean, that's how it is. So,
Love,
um,
love, love.
yep,
The
love
highest
and
power,
light. Love and light.
honestly.
Yep. Love and light. But so yes, thank you very much, and that was a very good exit speech. So I appreciate that, Larissa. So then you
Thank
can
you.
you can find me on the Healing Oracle Facebook page, and then the YouTube is a channel is Healing Oracle 1111. Look for the brand new videos that I'm working on that will be done soon on parallel realities. I'll be posting that hopefully in the next couple of days. And then also you can find me on the Divine Sister group, the SisTars United, and Larissa, Miss Larissa. You can find her at her page, Larissa Cosmos, or the Goddess of Good Vibes page, and then as well as a Divine Sisterhood group as well that we run together. So feel free to reach out and share, please. Yeah, get your
I
family,
mentioned
get your
one thing.
friends. Hide your wife. So, um,
There's also, I started a page called the Howl Community.
oh yeah, yeah, that's right.
I'd like to go and find that page and know that the reason there are people in your neighborhood around the world are howling at 8 p.m. is because we
Awesome.
are thanking our essential workers like Trish. Thank you,
Yay.
Trish. And
Thank you.
all the essential workers worldwide. It's a global community. We're all coming together to thank the workers that are holding us down and keeping our world spinning as we're all in lockdown. So feel free to join the Hollow community and get out on your porch every night, your porch, your front yard, wherever, at 8 p.m. and howl like a wolf.
Thank
And you're
you.
not going to be the only one doing it. I'm sure you hear your neighborhoods. They're roaring all around the world. And imagine how many people are howling at 8 p.m., how we are raising the vibration of love, sending out that gratitude to our essential workers around the world that are keeping us together right now
Thank
while
you.
everything else seems to be in chaos. Make sure
Thank
to get
you.
out there and
Yes.
howl.
Yep.
Show that appreciation and know that it is important and that all these essential workers that are holding our world up, they deserve that gratitude. And the world and Mother Gaia, I mean, 110 on the resonance scale, the Schumann resonance, that is showing that everything we are doing community as a global community is raising the vibration, and we need that. So please get out and howl. Make sure you're sending out the love. And lastly, just thank you for joining us tonight and listening to our message. We appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very much. And thank you all very much for joining. And that was very beautiful. I appreciate that. And you know what? And as I always say, if it wasn't for you guys, then we couldn't do this. If we didn't have anybody to answer questions for, if we didn't have anybody to help us reflect on that, because it doesn't just help you, it helps me, it helps Larissa whenever we're answering those questions. Sometimes we teach ourselves something. So, especially if we don't script it and we have to go off of intuition and, we're teaching ourselves something. So, um, well, I love you all very much, and please check in on us
Namaste.
anytime if you need anything, and it will be glad to help you in any way, shape, or form. I appreciate it. And then look for the brand new reamped website too soon. By the way, just a PS before you go. I am going to be making a lot of changes to the website. I'm going to be changing around some services, some wording, more or less than anything. But the way you can buy it is going to change, like my astrology reports. I'm going to flip up a little bit. You can get the full natal birth chart with future predictions now for 55, and then the smaller without the futures 30. I'm just going to be making a lot of changes, so just keep an eye out, guys. But I love you all very much. Larissa, of course, loves you very much as well. Feel free to get a hold of us at any time, and much love, much love. I love you all.
Magical out there.
Yes, be safe. Everybody be safe.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.